This is a Tony Rithergard Chronicles broadcast with breaking news. Please be advised.
Audio Jungle.
What's good, everybody, man? It's your boy Tony Real the God, man. Welcome to Tony Real the God Chronicles, man. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, Tony Real the God Chronicles. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, of course, and turn on your bell notifications. If you have not supported the channel, or if you would like to support the channel, hashtag Big Tony Main, GoFundMe.com/Tony Real the God 202. And all of the support goes toward the channel only. That is the only purpose the support is for. Thank you. Okay. A young woman, a Houston Instagram model named Mercedes Morr was found murdered in her apartment 2 days ago alongside her killer. It was said to be a possible murder-suicide. Now, I know of this model. I've seen her all on Instagram, you know what I'm saying, and she's a very, very beautiful woman, as y'all can see up there on the screen. Very, very beautiful woman, you know what I mean. Had, like, I think 2.6 million followers, you know what I'm saying. Very well known in her city of Houston, and she was found murdered. And also in the report, it said that she was strangled. She was murdered by strangulation by her killer. When they found her body, they also found the killer alongside of her, also dead. So that's pretty much why they ruled out it may have been a possible murder-suicide. But we are going to pretty much take a look at a video and check out what's going on in the report. And in the video, her parents are also speaking, and the video has other information that we're going to pretty much be listening to, y'all, about what happened to this beautiful young Instagram model lady. So it's really sad that you hear these type of things. So I really hope that her family gets the comfort that they need, and they have my condolences. This is a real sad moment. Something like this happened to this young lady, very popular young lady at that too. Once again, so that's why I always tell people, man, be careful out here in what you do, and don't get involved in things that may possibly get you harmed. Now, I'm not saying she got involved in anything bad, so don't quote me on that, y'all. I'm just speaking in general. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at the video and see what other information that we can hear and find out about. Let's go.
That was our baby. And as many people in Houston knew her and loved her, she was sweet with them as she is with us. She took care of people. She's just a sweetheart. And my baby's gone from a tragic event that didn't have to happen. And it's just...
That's her mother, everyone. Just let y'all know that it's her mother right there.
It's dangerous.
Mark, Sunday afternoon.
And that's her father.
And I mean, as a father, you don't ever prepare yourself for what you found. How are you dealing?
I mean, your first insight when I went into my daughter's apartment and saw her there, anger took over. Well, I'm sorry. Sadness took over real quick. My girlfriend, bless her little heart, at the time ran upstairs, saw the guy still in there. Anger took over. And she's crying hysterically. I'm mad as can be, especially because the guy's still up there. My girlfriend later on asked me, why didn't you cry at first? And I said, I didn't cry why? Because I was so mad and upset with this guy, even though he was committing suicide at the time, was in my daughter's house. My daughter's dead on the floor. And I don't know what he did. You know, I just knew that it was somebody that my daughter doesn't associate with, and not because of the person he was or is. It's my daughter. We keep her private. Nobody, not even her real friends, really knew her name. I've moved my daughter 3 times just because of my insecurities and the freeze, of course. But she doesn't have friends by her house. I know my daughter, and when I got to my daughter's house and it was locked up, and she's not answering my phone, which is not like her, I knew something was up, so I didn't hesitate to kick the door down. And what I saw, I wouldn't want any parent to go through. That's the first thing. The second thing is, which is even more hurtful, is I'm glad you reached out to us, was that news stories and calls and everything started popping up without reaching out to the parents, without reaching out.
Now that's terrible, y'all. How all these writings on the wall, you know, all those writings on the wall like that. Let's look at that again. Oh, wow. Okay, come on.
Our house. I know my daughter, and when I got to my daughter's house and it was locked up, and she's not answering my phone, which is not like her, I knew something was up, so I didn't hesitate to kick the door down. And what I saw, I wouldn't want any parent to go through.
See those writings on the wall, y'all?
The second thing is,
wow,
which is even more hurtful, is I'm glad you reached out to us, was that news stories and calls and everything started popping up without reaching out to the parents, without reaching out for information. And it went from false accusations of HIV or COVID to other things, and nobody even reached out to talk to us. So when I was contacted, I'm here to set the story straight, let everybody know what happened. Janae was very loved, and she's probably loved more than we would have thought of. I knew my daughter had a large following, and I knew she had some friends that, you know, in not high places, but friends that were influential. I didn't know all the love that she had, and hopefully we're able to, you know, give her a memorial or do something for her in a way that everybody is happy with, and everybody will be able to have closure like we want closure.
Yeah, we just want a respectful service. Again, she's a human being, and we just were not wanting to see the disrespectful comments that were on social media. It was horrific.
Tell us about the side of Janae that most people don't know. People who were just a fan of her, loved her beauty, her pictures, her expression on Instagram. Tell us about the Janae that you all know.
She's my baby. She was so kind. I mean, she's just always, I will say she's very, very protective of us. I'll say that.
Well, she was definitely protective of her mom. I mean, I could never say anything, not that I would, anything about her mom.
Not to be rude, y'all, but if I found my, you know, daughter dead in her home, I don't think there would be any laughter or any sort of amusement in this interview. But maybe that's just her way of getting through it. You know, and I'm pretty sure she's hurt, and you can pretty much see, you know, some hurt in her mother's eyes and her father. You know, that's just my opinion, y'all. But let's continue.
Without Janae saying dad, or anybody actually, without saying
happy
dad,
moments. Always keep them, y'all.
Was her mama's baby. Janae was that attitude and that directness was me. Janae was funny, she was goofy, and she was always a good time. The whole family, I mean, is Janae going to be around? Is Janae going to be around? Is Janae going to be around? So Janae was just the life of the party, even with the family. Getting her to do things, I had to climb down her all the time, but that was my kid, and I loved her.
Yeah, just a ray of sun. She was just fun to hang out with.
Hard-headed, but that was my kid, and I loved her.
Mark, for you, and you said this earlier, you always kept Janae close. She lived about 2 miles from you, and although she liked to party, and obviously not Richmond is not where the party is happening, right? You kept her close. You wanted to protect her, and to be the one to find her after she had been attacked, and knowing that you couldn't be there, although it's not your fault, how do you deal with that pain?
I told my youngest daughter and Janae are close, and she took it bad, and she would normally call me if like Janae Janae could not answer her call, and me and my girlfriend had left for 2 weeks. Janae called me before I left on vacation and said, "Daddy, I'm moving. I need you to help me move." And I've been helping her move so many dang times, my back hurts. But and when you get back, I'm moving to a new house. I need you to cook me dinner for the week. And that was always the joke with Janae. Janae wanted dinner every other week, and she wanted a smothered chicken for some odd reason. She couldn't let me. I think she burnt out on seafood. But Janae, or London called me and said Janae hasn't talked to me since Thursday. And then her friends were at the place. I knew something was wrong. I knew at that time something was wrong. I wouldn't have kicked the door in if I didn't know something was wrong. And what I saw did not surprise me at that moment, because I knew something was wrong. That's not my daughter. She would call me all the time, talk about, "Daddy, I'm checking on you." And I'd be like, "No, I'm checking on you." That was our little joke. And I knew something was wrong as soon as I got there.
Yeah, she didn't just not answer. That's not.
Yeah, she does not answer.
At least her parents and her sisters, brothers.
Yes.
She was always responsive, so that was strange. So when I got the call that a friend hadn't heard from her and Mark hadn't heard, okay, what's going on? So that's when I talked to Mark.
Did you stop thinking about what she went through?
No, that's horrific. Being strangled to death is a horrible way to die. And my baby's fine. And it was horrible to even think about it.
And I try not to think about it. My first night, we got here at 3 in the morning, me and some of my good friends. I mean, I got good friends for 30 years. Went to the place because I kept the door, and so we had to, after the police left, we had to secure the door and stuff. So we went in, just grabbed a couple of things, grabbed some paperwork and stuff, secured the door. I mean, it was just disgusting inside. And I prepared everybody because I had been inside. When we left, I got home that night. If I slept an hour, that might have been it, because when the detective told me that she had been strangled, that's all I can think in my mind is I did not want my daughter to go out in any kind of pain or suffering or any kind of traumatic anything. And I would have been happy with the thought in my mind that he pushed her or she fell down the stairs, because it's quick. And I know that's a bad thought, but I did not want my daughter to be in any kind of struggle, fight, or pain.
Well, if it was a bad thought, you shouldn't have said it on camera, sir. But I feel you, though. I do feel him, y'all. It is what it is. I do feel what he means. So my condolences goes out to this family, goes out to this young lady's mother, and it's really, really hard to deal with something like this, knowing that your child is gone, and it's very, 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 very tough to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue, y'all. Very, very sad.
So I don't know how the guy got into the place, because it was locked up tightly, and my daughter does not open the door for anybody. As short as she is, she still gets up to that peephole and would look just through and make sure it was me. I mean, I had to call my daughter. Janae, let me in. Janae, let me in. So I don't know how he found her. And I don't know how all this happened. That's the only part that I'm waiting on. I know what happened. I know my daughter's dead. And all this other stuff went on social media about she was shot and robbed and all the other stuff. You should be ashamed of yourselves for letting out false information just to get the story and not coming to us and or waiting for the real story.
Right. Let us grieve.
That's
We
right.
needed to grieve initially. Her dad found her. Can you imagine what that's like? So for him to have to see that and us process it, he and I to be able to talk about, what are the next steps, we would have appreciated at least that respect. But we didn't get that. And so, again, the social media discussions and all the ins and outs of that was hurtful. And we're here to set the record straight. She didn't know this guy. He was a random person, and he killed her, and he killed himself. And this is where we are at this point right now. And we want to celebrate her life. We will do that. So that's what we're here to do.
If you talk to Janae right now, what do you say to her?
We kind of never had a serious moment unless I was scolding her about almost everything. Because that's just our relationship. Everything was fun with us. I mean, Janae was just a joy.
Yeah.
She was a beautiful kid. I mean, she looks just like me.
No.
She's a beautiful kid. I mean, she was just my baby. That's my first. And I love all my children. But she was just a joy to have around at all times. I love her, and I miss her, and I'm going to miss her in London being together and going together.
That's right. And what I would say to her is, baby, we're here. Whatever you need. I know and again, it's just tragic because it's somebody she didn't know. So her being so careful, it didn't help at that point. So I miss her and love her, and wish we could see her again.
Well, there's just you and Janae right now here in Houston.
Yes, ma'am. Me and my mom was out here.
What were some of your favorite things about your daughter?
I had that bundle of joy. I mean, every time she came around, it was, Dad, I'm hungry. Dad, let's do this. Or, I mean, everything about Janae was fun. And when you get to a point and you raise your children, and you tell them everything they need to know, and then you let them grow up on their own, and now you can just have fun with them. That's the point I was to with all my girls. About 2 months ago, my youngest came down, and 3 of her friends came down to hang out with Janae. They all come by the house 2 nights in a row. I mean, you can finally eat and have a good time with your kids. And all we did was, talk at a table, have a good time, laugh, and all that. And I'm going to really miss that. Because, I mean, Janae would come by, and my girlfriend has a 7-year-old daughter. And they would play. They would have water fights. They would play. I mean, just goofy. Janae was a goofy kid. I mean, everybody saw the business side of her and the I'm so sexy side of her. But Janae was a big kid at heart. And she is. If you see the pictures of her and Janae having a pool party, dressing up like cowboys, I mean, it's just silly and goofy. Janae would come over with her daughter and play dolls together. I mean, and I'd just sit on the phone like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed, that's my daughter. But that was Janae.
It's fun. Jim's fun.
I really want people to, I learned this morning that you were the one who found her.
Yes, ma'am.
You said earlier today it's been haunting you. Kick that door down. And I know you said you weren't shocked and you found her doing something was wrong, but what did you feel in that moment? What do you feel in this moment? You're not going to see your daughter again? How do you...
My daughter was on the ground and my girlfriend was hysterical. My daughter was on the ground. She looked to me like she fell down the stairs. And at that moment, I thought Janae had an accident and fell down the stairs. But, Janae wasn't fully, but she looked like she had came home, was getting undressed and fell down the stairs. So I was like, baby, run upstairs. Yes, I've covered Janae up. And I kind of like turned away. When she ran upstairs and saw the guy, then I realized it wasn't an accident. And I'm almost okay in my mind. I mean, I know reality, and I'm almost getting okay in my mind about something that happens by an accident or something that happens like a death or like if you're sickness and stuff. That in my mind is not okay, but it happens. It's life. I'm not okay with murder. Okay? So as soon as she ran upstairs and saw the guy, that's when my anger level got so bad that all I could feel was hot anger, and all I could do was just sit there and watch until the police got there.
Did he say anything?
He was twitching, he was gurgling. I could look in the room. There's writing all over the walls. He was there for like 2 or 3 days, or 2 days, I'm sorry. Writing on the walls, bleeding out, there's blood all over the apartment, bleeding out all over the apartment. And supposedly when I kicked in the door, he ended his life. He tried to end his life, and of course he ended his life. But for me to see that, I kind of just was in shock for the whole day. I just stood there for the whole day, waiting for everything to be done. I didn't really get affected until the next day. When it kind of like, well, that night, the detective told me she was strangled. I went home that night and just couldn't sleep. I mean, I was up all night, but I wasn't sleeping. I get home yesterday, and I get up yesterday, and I tried to take a nap, and I kept getting phone calls, but I just wasn't sleeping. They came into town last night. We're going to go to midnight. Last night, I finally got sleep. I finally kind of calmed down, got sleep. This can't happen to anyone. I mean, there's all sorts of things going on around in the world, and you always think that you never want to see your kid die. And I want to die before all my kids. And I didn't want my mom to know that her granddaughter died, because that was my mom's baby. But to have your daughter murdered is a whole other story. Especially since she was so famous in her world and so loved in our world, that for this to happen.
It's crazy how you can be famous in your own world, but not loved in your personal world, your personal life. You're not, you know what I'm saying? You're not as loved in your world as you are in your personal life. It's really sad how you don't get the same amount of love, you know what I'm saying, on both sides. You know, it's really, really, really sad, really ridiculous. I really feel this father's pain. I would never want to have that problem, witnessing or even finding my daughter, murdered in her own home. That would really break me down, break me up. So, no parent should have to go through that. None.
And we don't find out 2 days later. It just saddened me so bad.
Yeah.
Because I thought I watched my daughter well. I thought that I was there for her all the time. I don't know if a day earlier or if anything would have helped, but
I think for me, I think about what I was doing when she possibly was killed. We're saying Friday, so then you start to run in your head. Oh, I texted her. She didn't come back. We had sent her some pictures of the family, and we were, hanging out with some friends, and texted her some pictures. And she'll usually come back and say, "Hey, Mom, you guys are having a good time. What are you guys doing?" And she did not come back. So then, when this all plays out, you start to think, where was I? What was I doing when my baby was being strangled to death and thrown down the stairs? So that's, I think for me, of course, short of seeing that, that's hard for me to think, what in your life, what were we doing? You know what I mean? And she's being she's being killed, and you know, Saturday goes by, she's, you know, laying dead, and we have this man in the apartment doing whatever. So that is hard, and that'll be hard to get over and think about, you know, the horrific death of strangulation and my beautiful baby. She's beautiful. I mean, let's be real. It is what it is, you know. And so for someone to snuff out that shining bright light is sad. It's sad. And she's a human. She's a person. So.
What does the heart feel like? Thinking the heart and the mind was thinking about life without Janae for you.
It's heavy. It's so heavy. Even now, you know, of course it's going to take some time. But even now I think to myself, oh, I need to ask. I was just telling my husband, we were in the car driving back, you know, to the hotel last night, and it's like, oh, you know, I need to ask Janae if I have, and I'm thinking, you know, this was just a normal thing, but now we have to get used to life without her. And that's, you know, makes your heart heavy. And her and my husband, her stepdad, were very close. They talked and texted all the time, and that was tough to, you know, to deal with. And so for us as a family to come together and not have this beautiful life is going to be tough for us all.
What's the number one thing you want people to know about Janae?
Janae had a lot of followers. And I warned Janae about her followers. Some were true followers, some were there for their own reason. And apparently one of them was a little nutty. But Janae was probably the best sister to her brothers and sisters, or her brother and her sisters. She was a handful to a dad. And I love that about her. She kept me on my toes, I swear. She kept me on my toes to where she made me watch out for both my daughters. So, Janae was a ball of excitement and activity, and anywhere and everywhere Janae went. My mom, and when my mom was a little younger, they'd hang out more. But even now, my mom would be like, we went somewhere and Janae had these guys looking at her and blah, 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 blah. And every story was, you know, about Janae to my mom, or with my mom. And Janae was just a loved kid that had so much love to give and shared herself and her life with everyone. And Janae could have had 2 or 3 businesses if she wanted to. We've discussed that, you know, I always wanted to, Janae, it's time, you're getting a little bit older, get a business. Janae could have did whatever she wanted, but she loved people so much that she wanted to be out there, having a good time all the time. Her sister would come into town, and London's younger than Janae. But London would be like, Janae's getting tired, and Janae wants to go home. I said, baby, Janae's getting old. London, you're still young. But Janae and London just like to have fun. You know, celebrate life. So that Janae, every day with Janae was not a party, but a social event. Mm-hmm. And Janae couldn't go nowhere, embarrassing, without talking to everybody, meeting everybody, and having fun with everybody. So yep. I had a good time, and life without Janae is something I don't know what I'm going to get used to, I guess, because I have to, but life without Janae is something. And I'm going to go, when we first talked about, you know, what we're going to do for Janae and all that, we thought about keeping it private, keeping it family. And for me, it was for my own selfish reason, because I want to get this over with. I don't want to live this day by day by day, you know. And I don't want to get the memory of my daughter over with. I want to get the burial or whatever we're going to do over with, and get my life back to some normalcy to where I can at least think about it and cope day by day. We were talking, I hope I'm talking for both of us. We were talking about Janae had so many fans and so many loved people that I know we need to do something bigger. I know we need to do a memorial. We need to let everybody mourn and celebrate Janae's life. We don't know exactly what we're going to do or how we're going to do it, but we're going to do something. And hopefully the people that loved her and partied with her and had a good time with her will come, celebrate Janae's life.
How big your daughter's audience was and her image on Instagram and 2.6 million followers, knowing she had so many fans. Did that ever scare you?
Oh, it scared her. It scared the hell out of me. As a father, really, my daughter was beautiful. That scared the hell out of me. And she kept trying to get more and more beautiful. She worked on it hard. That scares the hell out of me. My weekly, monthly conversation is, Janae, you have all these followers. Some follow you because they love you. Some follow them because they like your look. Some are crazy and some are obsessed. And I know that's a bad thing to say. And that's why I guarded my daughter. And that's why everything about her was personal. Her friends thought her name was Mercedes Morr. I mean, her friends didn't know where they lived. When Janae first got to Houston, she lived with me, and we lived together for a while. But when she went out on her own, I was like, Janae, she was basically calling me almost every night when you get home. And after a while, you get kind of lax and you get kind of used to it. But Janae's business had went from being in the clubs all the time, especially like in Houston. She stopped doing a lot of stuff. Houston started doing a lot of private stuff. So I got a little bit more comfortable with what she was doing, because everything was private and or a club where she had security. Her manager, you got to have Janae security. You have to have this. You have to have that. I questioned Janae on everything, and so I got a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more lax as she got bigger and it got a little bit more professional. I mean, I'm still trying to get her to do, she wanted to do a hair company, which was beautiful. She was going to do a legging company called Morr Leggings because she thought she had big legs or whatever. But that was going to be her company.
Yeah. Well, of course, the mother's relationship and the dad's relationship is a bit different. So for me, of course, I was afraid of the number of followers she had. But for me, she and I were close enough to where, okay, what is it you're doing? We were in depth. Like
I know it's kind of late me saying this, y'all, but I don't think the dad should have even said the name of the company that she was gonna, call her company Morr Leggings. I mean, because someone can steal that idea now. But he's just expressing himself. That's all. But I'm just saying, future reference. You don't want to reveal, any type of plans or any type of titles or names of a company that you were going to establish. That's all I'm saying, y'all. But yeah, he's just expressing himself though, and I do feel this father and mother's pain. I really do, y'all. Let's continue.
I knew a lot of what was happening, what she was doing, where she was at, and so for me, I had a different perspective. I knew her dad was here; he was protecting her. She and I had that different conversation, right? Of of course, being safe, and who are the people you're hanging out with? Always be classy, You are who you are. People are always going to, 2 million people, not everybody's going to love you. But you always be classy and always be what we taught you to be. And so for me, we had that different relationship in the fact that I knew, we talked about where she was, and she, as her dad said, she progressed, and she was doing her thing, and it didn't have to be, I'm, in a club. She wasn't that person. That wasn't her. You saw her on Instagram, and that's what you got. Do you know what I mean? So she was always professional, classy, and she treated people well. So that's why she was so popular. So again, Mother's Day is not going to be the same. I'll tell you that. That's going to be different. Father's Day is not going to be the same. We have to learn to work through it for this beautiful, beautiful person that's not here anymore. But she's brought so much to everybody. And as Mark said, we're going to allow folks to mourn the loss of her. It was initially, okay, let's just keep it to family, but we knew the people that out there that loved her. And those that didn't, you're not invited. So.
Real talk.
We'll again, we'll have some information out for that soon once we work through some things. As again, we still have an open investigation on who this person was and where he came from. So we still ask for the respect that the family deserves in that regard, and to understand that we too have to have closure, and some things need to happen from the investigation side of the house, and as a family, our grieving process.
In that order, y'all heard that? Y'all heard what the mother said? In that order. Respect the family, y'all. Don't be on social media saying things you should not say about this mother and this father's child. In that order. Let them grieve in peace.
I imagine the hardest part about this, or one of the hardest parts about this heartbreaking situation for you, and especially you, Mark, as her father, who's just a few miles down the road, is knowing that a stranger did this, a man did this, who your daughter did not know, took her life. She was not protected.
Hate's a strong word, and anger you can be obsessed with anger. So I try to keep my mind level, because I know this has happened to other people. I try to keep my mind level and not think about that, because I don't want the hatred to build up in my heart towards anybody or anything. But that's a hard thing to deal with. I mean, it's probably bad if somebody you know does it, but for somebody to get in, you don't know how they got in, snuck in. There wasn't no forced entry. How he got in, I know my daughter didn't let him in. The police say he probably entered through the garage, and I know
and that is a mystery, how he got in. They want to know how this man was even able to get into her home. You know, now he just said that her mother think he got in through the garage, but why would the garage even be unlocked or open? That's a mystery. It makes it sound so much like an inside job. You know what I mean? Like someone was, like that man had to been watching her or something. So that's mysterious. Like, how did this man get in her home if her doors were locked? If there was no forced entry? So yeah, he's right. How did he get in? That's the mystery.
she would leave her garage open sometimes after she came home. But since it was on a Saturday during the day where things kind of really happened, and I know that's it, because she talked to one of her friends, or texted one of her friends at 11 o'clock.
On Saturday?
On Saturday. So he had to get in her garage sometime during that day. Then she tried to call back.
Well, okay, so if the garage was open and he got in there somehow, you know, he might have got in there and probably was hiding or something, y'all, or, you know, could have been in there waiting for the right moment, you know, and, you know, I mean, it's really sick, makes me sick to my stomach, you know, even hearing this possibility that he could have gotten into the garage. And if her garage was open and he got in, he must have been hiding somewhere, waiting for the perfect time to move on this young lady. And, you know, it's just terrible. It's just terrible. And I'm going to show y'all a picture of this piece of shit motherfucker. So, let's continue.
And Janae wouldn't answer. So it had to happen on Saturday. But for him to slide in and do what he did, his car was not parked in front of her place. His car was parked like 10 spaces down, where he could have just been looking, waiting for an opportune moment.
He followed her.
And to know all that, I just try to keep my heart, you know, still and safe and still thinking that people are good. And it's hard to do right now.
He was watching that young lady.
Is there anything else you really want to add? I know.
We've been getting a bunch of requests. Okay, our first thing was to do something small. I got family coming out in Morr, and I wanted to get it over with. And we discussed that last night. And then Janae had a bunch of friends. And friends want to help in different ways. We're going to set up a GoFundMe. I don't know how we're going to do it, what it's going to say. And if you want to contribute, fine. We're not asking nobody to contribute, but there's a lot of people, if you want to contribute, we'll take all that money, spend it on a celebration for Janae, and we'll open it up to as many people as we can. I mean, if her friends, I know her friends want to be around if they want to come help us and do whatever. I mean, her mother's going to really be in charge of that, because I can't handle it. But we're going to do something. We're just waiting for the body to be released. We're waiting for the coroner to let us know when the body's going to be released. As far as the police investigation, I know my daughter's dead, and I don't know everything that happened. I can see what happened. But as far as investigation, we're waiting to find out who. I mean, we know who. We're finding out why and how. So as soon as I find out why and how, I mean, we might have a little bit more closure. But that's all we want to do. Get this behind us. Think about our daughter with not all this going on.
Just some closure. Just give us time and let us process and make some decisions, and we'll allow folks to come and grieve and celebrate her life. So.
Wow, y'all. That is that was a very, very touching interview for me and for everybody. If you knew this young lady, please pray for the family. Give the family your condolences. Let them grieve in peace. Don't be on social media, with the negativity. Because this is a very, very trying and hard moment for her mother and father, for her family. And they have my condolences and all of my prayers go out to this family for this young lady. She's a very well-known young lady, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So let me give y'all a look at this. And this is the young lady here. Very beautiful young lady. She didn't deserve, what she get. What happened to her. You know what I'm saying? So, she just didn't deserve it, y'all. So this is the sick asshole right here that did this to this young lady. This piece of shit, hobo bum looking motherfucker. And they said in the report he was found dead next to her. But the father reported that he came in there and he was gurgling and dying, and then he eventually died. And he said he couldn't do nothing but just look at him. And I feel his dad. I'd have just looked at that motherfucker too to make sure his ass was gonna kick the bucket. He killed his daughter. He didn't deserve to live. He didn't deserve to be free. That's just my straight opinion. But this is this sick asshole right here. He followed this young lady. He must have watched her as well and waited for the right time for himself to go in there and kill this young lady, this piece of shit. So let's go up here and read this information here, y'all. Alright, so we're going to just read from the very top right here on down. If anything is the same that we've already heard in the video, we'll skip past that as I read this. If not, we'll continue to read on. So, it says here, Houston, Texas, KTRK, the mother and father of Janae Gagnier, I think that's how you say that, y'all. The Instagram star who was known to millions as Miss Mercedes Morr, say they've lost the brightest light in their family. So this is what her mother said. Her mother said that she's a person that was their baby, which she said in the video, and that was her baby. And her name is Janita Grover. Right here it says, for the first time since Janae's murder, her parents talked with Eyewitness News reports. Stephania Okoli. They described their oldest daughter as a dependable and loving big sister, a daddy's girl, and her mother's best friend. So her mother said here, she was famous. She was so famous in her world and so loved in ours, and that's what she said. That's what she stated also in the video. So right here it says, across Houston, Janae became famous in the entertainment industry. Her stunning and daring photos on Instagram drew hundreds of thousands of likes. Her father right here said, it scared the hell out of me. So that's what he stated in the video. My daughter was beautiful, and that scared the hell out of me. And she kept trying to get more beautiful. She worked on it hard. That scared the hell out of me. So he was very afraid for his daughter even being in this type of industry, in this type of organization. And I got a feeling that the dad might have, known that in this type of entertainment business, bad things can happen. So I could really understand why he would be afraid. I would be afraid if my daughter was in that type of industry as well. And this is ridiculous, man. How so many people, sick assholes like that piece of shit. Oh man, yeah, I'm sorry. It's just it kind of just hurts me even explaining this. But it says here, but even with that fear in his pocket, Gagner never imagined what he would walk into when he arrived to his 33-year-old daughter's apartment Sunday evening. He rushed there concerned after his family had not heard from Janae all weekend. So right here is pretty much what he said right here in the video. I know my daughter, and when I got to my daughter's house and it was locked up and she's not answering my phone call. So this is what he stated in the video as well. His daughter was dead at the bottom of the staircase. It says, a heartbroken Gardner thought it could have been an accident, but upstairs, he and his girlfriend found Janae's killer. Kevin Ocorto, 34, had a knife in his neck. Investigators say he stabbed himself. And so, yeah, right here in the video, her dad had stated that he was twitching and gurgling because he was dying, losing a lot of blood. And right here, he said, I can look in the room and there's writing all over the wall. Now, these writings all over the wall, was pretty, claimed that the killer had wrote the stuff all over the wall. He must have been some sort of sick ass, person, probably like thinking, probably trying to make people suffer for their beauty type guy. I was looking for the right words, y'all, but it just didn't come out that way. But he probably was one of those guys, one of those sick ass guys, jealous and envious, probably didn't have a life, and just decided to do something heinous as this. So it says here, penned with lipstick or pens, the rambling notes contain confessions, apologies, and professed love for Janae. Wow. So this guy, the words I was looking for, it pretty much popped in my head after I read this. He was a sick ass fucking fan. A woman who investigators do not believe Ocorto knew personally. So no, he didn't know her personally. So this could have possibly been one of her followers on Instagram. This was a sick ass piece of shit fan. This piece of shit right here. This piece of dog shit, cat piss ass, fucked up ass motherfucker. This piece of shit right here. Good thing he isn't with us anymore, because his ass was gonna rot in prison, and they was gonna do a whole lot of things to him. So he knew going to prison wasn't a good idea. Took his own life because he's a fucking coward. Didn't want to face his punishment like a man. This sick piece of shit motherfucker. I'm sorry, y'all. It's just come out that way. So right here, it's pretty much what her father was saying. My monthly conversation is Janae, you have all these followers, some probably because they love you, some because they like your look, some more crazy, and some obsessed. So this one here was crazy and obsessed, as you can see. Look at his crazy, obsessed looking ass face. He looks suspect. He looks suspect. It says here, her family believes Ocorto was just that, a crazed follower who stalked Janae and somehow found her. And right here, her father says, I don't know how he found her, and I don't know how all this happened. That's what he stated in the video. And you know what? And that's you know what I'm saying. And that's pretty much like that's a mystery because how did he find her? You know what I'm saying? What type of source did he use to even find her? Or did he even stay in the same neighborhood? Was he in the same area she was in? Did he live in the same area she's in? Or was he someone that just saw her in the neighborhood and just couldn't stop looking at her and just obsessed with her, this piece of dog shit? You know, protect your children, man. Protect your family, people, from people like this. Okay, so it says here, as news spread quickly over social media Sunday regarding the death of the Instagram star, so did rumors. And that's really sad, though, that the mother had stated that there were a lot of negative comments. She stated that in the video. You know, they were trying to grieve in peace, and people were supposed to be, loved her. You know what I'm saying, was saying positive things. But then you had people spreading rumors about, you know what I'm saying, what had possibly happened to her. Like, oh, she got shot and all this stuff. Like, no, come on, man, stop it. You know, like all of you negative commenters, leave this family alone and don't be throwing your negative bullshit out there like somebody's going to pay attention to it. It's really sad that this family can't grieve in peace because all you motherfuckers want clout and shit and make up your own little ideas about this young lady. Her family knows what happened to her. Her father and mother knows what happened to her. Her father found his baby girl laid out at the bottom of the staircase, lifeless. And you sick assholes are online talking all your shit and all your negative bull crap. Shut your asses up if you don't have nothing nice to say. Let this family grieve in peace. Says here it went from false accusations of HIV or COVID to other things. That's what her father said. He stated that in the video as well. Her parents said the rumors flooding the internet made it that much more difficult to mourn the loss of their daughter, and it did. And it did. Sad pieces of shit assholes. The medical examiner ruled Janae's death was a homicide. She was strangled and suffered a traumatic concussion. The Fort Bend County medical examiner had confirmed this. Richmond investigators are working to figure out how Accordo found Janae and got into her apartment. We have got to protect each other out here, y'all. Protect our babies, man. We got to protect our babies. I don't care how old they get or how old you get. You still have to protect them, whether it be man or woman. We have to protect each other as a family. We have to protect each other out here, y'all. We do. He strangled this young lady to death. And it says here she suffered a traumatic concussion, which means as he strangled her, he could have possibly tossed her lifeless body down the stairs. Or he could have tossed her down the stairs and she hit her head and he went down to the bottom of the stairs to strangle her then. He completely harmed this young woman to the furthest extent. He has the nerve to get into this young woman's house and do what he did, all because he's some sort of super crazed, obsessed fan. Like he's never seen a beautiful woman before. She did not deserve this. Period, y'all. So let's take one more look at this sad, sick motherfucker. This piece of shit, Mr. Accordo. This piece of crap. Enjoy your way down to the empty, you piece of shit. Or in the Christian term, hell, you piece of shit. Whew. Wow. I will say this, y'all. We cannot allow these type of things to continue to happen to our loved ones. And it's really hard out here to protect our loved ones these days because everyone lives their own lives. Everyone lives their own lives. And it's sad that this baby had to go through this, and she had to go through fighting for her life. And in the end, she lost her life because this sick asshole had no respect for a woman, for a lady. You don't force yourself on a woman. Show respect. You don't do these type of things. And to all you sick, sad assholes out there thinking you can have whatever woman you want and do what you want to a woman, you got another thing coming. This is why I encourage all young women, young men to get into some sort of defense classes so that you will be able to protect yourself physically, mentally, and or weapon. We need protection. We need to protect ourselves. And this story on this young lady is very, very heartfelt. Very, very heartfelt. It's really ridiculous that you can't even go outside and take care of business. Go home to where you're supposed to have peace. But then the threat comes to your home. The drama comes to your home. And you have to protect it. This young lady died protecting her home and trying to get this man out of her home. I'm pretty sure she fought, which she should have. This man had no right to do this. This piece of shit, Accordo. What's his damn name again? Let me see, y'all. Hold on. Kevin Accordo, a 34-year-old sick asshole who's dead now. Rightfully dead. And I'm just gonna say it like that. I don't care who feels some sort of way about it. This young lady had no business. She has no business being dead. I'm gonna say it like that. She's not supposed to be dead. She's supposed to be still living her life. But you got sick assholes like Kevin Accordo taking the lives of young, beautiful black sisters. And this is why we all, as black and brown skinned kings and queens, princes and princesses, need to come together and unify and be strong and protect one another. All this, I don't know you, or I don't want to be. Look, we're in a time where we need to be together. That is what it is, people. We are in that time where we need to be together. And we need to protect one another. And it's not about just your family anymore. No, it's not. It's about all of our families now. We all need to make a pact and just come together, get to know each other, protect each other. Now, I'm not saying every person's family are good families or have good people in their family. There are some bad people in families out there. There's some bad people out there. But at some point, when is it going to be enough? When are we going to have justice, enough justice to keep things like this from happening? When is there going to be some sort of regulation to where people cannot be sitting here getting into your homes at their own free will and doing these things to you? It seems to me security cameras are not working. Security systems aren't working. And I heard nothing in this story about her having a security system. That baby was missing just that. She was missing a security. If she'd have had a security system, she would have been notified of movement or someone in her home if she'd have had a security system. I think dad and mom should have put a security system in her home, but they probably felt like that would have been too much, and they probably didn't want to just invade her privacy like that. That's okay. But I do think she should have had some sort of security system set up to where she could have been more protected and aware of movement or anything unusual happening in her home. That way she wouldn't have went home That way she wouldn't have went home that night. She could have seen it on her phone or whatever kind of device she was using to see if someone might have been in her home. This baby should still be alive. This beautiful young lady should still be alive. She should not be dead. It was not her time. Like her father said in the video, he didn't want his daughter to go out like that. And I feel him. I don't want none of my kids to go out like that. I don't want nobody killing them. And I'm sure they don't want nobody killing me. None of us need to go out like that, man. Nobody want to be killed. Nobody need to be murdered. You just got messed up people, man. Sick assholes. Sick assholes. Let me show y'all this motherfucker's picture one more time. Here he is. Look at this ugly piece of shit motherfucker. I hope you're enjoying your expressway ride to the empty. Or in the Christian term, to hell. Or wherever your damn soul or energy or spirit winds up. I hope you rot, you piece of shit. This pathetic human being right here. He knew better. He knew better. Stalked this young lady. I'm pretty sure when she saw this man in her home, she was startled. She was alone and she was afraid for herself, for her life. That is not a good feeling. Coming to your home and someone you don't know is in your home. That is not a good feeling. What would y'all do if that was to happen to you? You go home and someone's in your home. You'd be ready to fight. You'd be ready to kill. But then you got some that's too damn afraid. They just give up their free will and don't even fight. Let it happen because they thinking maybe if they let it happen, this person, this perpetrator, this predator will go away. But that wasn't in this child's case. That wasn't in this beautiful young lady's case. This man assaulted her and he strangled her to death. What kind of fucking man is this? A sick, sadistic, plotting asshole. And his ass deserved to rot wherever his lifeless body, spirit, whatever the hell you want to call it, turns up. People like this doesn't even need to exist. And I'm just going to say it like that. Can't even go to your own damn home. But don't worry. That Houston family for this baby, that mother and father, and Mercedes Morr, I say to you, your city mourns for you, baby. Your city grieves for you. I'm sure your city is doing all of that. I'm sure they are. And I'll say it personally. I mourn for you, baby. I grieve for you. Because this shouldn't have happened to you. This shouldn't have happened at all. You still should be here doing what you were purposed here to do. But this sick asshole Kevin Ocorto, 34-year-old pervert, sick ass bitch, had other plans for you and decided to take you away. This family has my condolences, my blessings, my prayers. And I say this one more time. All you people out there in the social media world, let this family grieve in peace. Do not be on there spreading rumors all online, Do not be on here, talking all kinds of crazy crap about this young lady. That's not true. If you don't know the story, then maybe you need to come to my channel, Tony Riddle Chronicles, where you actually get the real story and see the parents speak on their child and see the information that I presented, reported, and reviewed, to where the examiner ruled out that the baby was choked, strangled to death. The young lady was strangled to death. It didn't say nothing about her being stabbed. She was strangled to death. And it's really sad that all you motherfuckers out there spreading these nasty rumors about this beautiful young lady. Get a goddamn life. Let this family grieve in peace. And that's my story, y'all, and that's my review. And I really hope that this story touched all of you as much as it touched me. I really appreciate y'all coming out and watching and clicking on this video. Please support the channel at hashtag Big Tony Main, GoFundMe.com/TonyRiverGuard202. Follow me on all my platforms, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Protect your loved ones, y'all. Protect your family. And that's my story. That's my review. To the next review, to the next report. Holla at your boy, man. This has been a Tony River Guard Chronicles broadcast with breaking news. Thank you for being advised. Thank you for watching.